Today is Thursday, May 15th. We're talking about a key case in front of the U.S. Supreme Court as President Trump tries to limit judges who rule against him. Also, a couple of tense hearings on Capitol Hill with top cabinet officials defending their work on immigration and healthcare. Plus, millions of Americans could face more severe weather. Another dangerous trend has gone viral online, and celebrities want to get fans active. We'll explain. Those stories and even more news to know next. Welcome to The Newsworthy. All the day's news in around 10 minutes. Fast, fair, fun, and on the go. I'm Erica Mandy. Thanks so much for being here. You ready? Let's do this. Today, the U.S. Supreme Court is taking on one of the most highly anticipated cases of this session. The justices are hearing about President Trump's order to restrict automatic birthright citizenship, aka if you're born in the U.S., you're automatically a citizen. Though this case is actually a bit more complicated than that. The Trump administration brought the case to the Supreme Court after 3 federal judges issued orders blocking Trump's executive action, calling it unconstitutional. But the high court justices aren't necessarily being asked to weigh in on whether it would be legal to end birthright citizenship. Instead, the Trump administration draws their attention to the actions of the 3 federal judges and whether they should have the power to block policies on a nationwide level. Trump's team says their orders need to be limited so they only apply to the people who actually sued, and that for everyone else, Trump's order could still be enforced. And that means the court is weighing a question that could impact dozens of nationwide injunctions judges have issued against the Trump administration so far this year. The Supreme Court is likely to rule by this summer. There are new developments in a couple of immigration cases that have drawn attention from scientists and academics all around the world. First, there's the case of Ksenia Petrova. The Trump administration announced criminal smuggling charges against her yesterday, and a government lawyer told a federal judge the U.S. plans to deport her back to Russia, despite her fear that she'll be arrested there over her political views. Petrova is a Harvard scientist who was detained 3 months ago because she had frog embryo samples in her luggage. They were non-infectious and non-toxic and meant for her lab, and Petrova says she did not realize she would have to declare them. Her lawyer argues this would ordinarily be treated as a minor infraction, punishable with a fine. But instead, the customs official canceled her visa on the spot and initiated deportation proceedings. The U.S. Justice Department has defended the action, saying it's important to protect against unknown biological materials. It also notes that before she left Russia, Petrova worked for a genetic research center with ties to the Russian government. The first hearing in her criminal case is set for today. Separately, a Georgetown University researcher and professor was released from an immigration detention center in Texas yesterday, even though the Trump administration was trying to deport him. Badr Khan Suri is an Indian national who has been in custody since March, with Homeland Security accusing him of actively spreading Hamas propaganda and promoting anti-Semitism on social media. But the federal judge yesterday said his detention was in violation of the right to free speech and the right to due process. Now he's free to return home to Virginia while a legal challenge continues. Judges have already issued orders for other foreign nationals to be released, like students from Tufts and Columbia universities. But many more are still in custody and fighting to be freed. To be continued. A couple of President Trump's top cabinet members were grilled on Capitol Hill this week. With Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem, some of the most heated moments came as Democrats asked her about Kilmar Abrego Garcia. Remember, he's the migrant who was mistakenly deported to El Salvador. Noem told lawmakers it must be discouraging for constituents to see them fight harder for a terrorist than for American citizens. To that, one congressman insisted he's not fighting for a terrorist, he's fighting for due process. Noem defended her agency there too, saying it has followed all federal court orders. Though she also says she believes due process does not necessarily guarantee a hearing. Remember, the Supreme Court already told the Trump administration to facilitate Abrego Garcia's return, but the government insists he should stay in El Salvador. Separately, lawmakers questioned Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. in back-to-back hearings. And in one key moment, after a congressman asked whether RFK Jr. would vaccinate his own kids today, the health secretary responded by saying in part, quote, "I don't think people should be taking medical advice from me," going on to say people should make up their own minds. But Democrats pushed back, saying he's making medical decisions every day and has tremendous power over health policy. There was also a moment in which RFK Jr. and a Democratic senator shouted at each other over what is or isn't true about vaccines. Kennedy did find common ground with Democrats in other issues, like his moves to ban food dyes, where Republicans questioned how expensive they would be for food manufacturers. Though there was some bipartisan agreement too, like about new dietary guidelines and lowering prescription drug costs. And Kennedy told lawmakers he looked forward to working with them. President Trump announced more multi-billion-dollar deals during his trip to the Middle East. For example, there's a $96 billion plan by Qatar Airways to buy more than 200 Boeing jets, a nearly $2 billion agreement for Qatar to acquire American drones, and more. The U.S. and Qatar also signed a statement saying they'll boost security partnerships with more than $28 billion in future investments. Remember, Trump has also said it would be stupid not to accept a very expensive airplane from Qatar as a gift to be used as Air Force One, even though others have criticized it as a bribe or conflict of interest. Either way, that did not come up in Trump's public comments in Qatar yesterday. Today, the president is headed to Abu Dhabi. Much of the middle of the country is now facing a severe weather threat that lasts into early next week. Today, the highest risk area includes cities like Chicago, Milwaukee, and Grand Rapids. High winds, damaging hail, and a tornado are all possible. Tomorrow, the storm threat moves south into cities like Indianapolis, Nashville, and Little Rock. From that point, meteorologists say it's important to watch the forecast since specific details can change. But overall, there's a weather pattern that could make severe storms likely and that lasts until next Wednesday for the Plains and Midwest. More news still coming up, but first, thanks to our sponsor, Honeylove. Spring is here, and that also means wedding season is in full swing. Or maybe you have some graduation ceremonies coming up or baby showers. Whatever the event, if you have a reason to get dressed up, remember that a great outfit often starts with great shapewear. And thanks to Honeylove, you don't have to suffer in uncomfortable or restrictive or ugly shapewear. Honeylove sets a new standard, starting with their targeted compression to sculpt and smooth where you want it and ease off where you don't. That means it's super effective and comfortable. And because of flexible boning in the side seams, you'll never deal with rolling up or rolling down, aka no tugging at your dress all day or night. It's why our executive producer chose Honeylove for her wedding day, and I've now continued to choose Honeylove for every special event since learning about the brand. Treat yourself to the most comfortable shapewear on earth and save 20% off site-wide at honeylove.com/newsworthy. Use our exclusive link to get 20% off, honeylove.com/newsworthy. After your purchase, they'll ask you where you've heard about them, so please support our show and tell them we sent you. Experience the new standard in shapewear with Honeylove. Now back to the news. The U.S. is seeing some progress when it comes to the drug epidemic. The number of Americans who died from overdoses involving drugs like fentanyl and meth dropped by nearly 30% last year. That's the largest one-year decline ever recorded. And it brings overdoses down to a level not seen before the pandemic. Experts say there are likely a few different reasons for this trend. For starters, there's broader access to the overdose-reversing drug naloxone, also known by the brand name Narcan. Also, because of national opioid settlements, there's $50 billion in funding that's gone toward drug treatment and youth prevention. Plus, there's been a crackdown on drugs smuggled through Canada and Mexico. Granted, the CDC notes how overdoses are still the leading cause of death for people ages 18 to 44, so it says it's important to keep focusing on progress. One of the latest TikTok trends, called the Chromebook Challenge, is raising alarms in schools across the U.S. Students are jamming objects like paper clips into their often school-provided laptops until they spark, smoke, or in some cases catch fire. And the dangerous trend is not just damaging laptops. Floors, desks, and other property have also burned, and schools have had to be evacuated. Some kids have even faced criminal charges, and there's been at least one report of a teen going to the hospital for smoke inhalation. Reports say students from elementary through high school have taken part. TikTok says it's now blocking searches for the trend and displaying safety warnings. But educators and fire departments are urging families to talk to their kids before this trend turns into another dangerous emergency. Both Airbnb and Uber are introducing new features ahead of the summer season. With Airbnb, there are now services and experiences customers can book. Services lets you book things like a haircut, a massage, a chef-prepared meal, a personal training session, a professional photo shoot, and so on. Experiences are more like cultural and museum tours, water sports, cooking classes, art workshops, and more. This isn't the first time Airbnb has tried that feature, but it paused an earlier version of experiences, so they're back now as part of the larger app overhaul. This all puts Airbnb more directly in competition with other travel companies like TripAdvisor and Booking.com that also have vacation offerings beyond just lodging. The updates have already started rolling out. Meanwhile, Uber's updates are more about affordability. For example, there's now Route Share that Uber says is its most affordable ride option. Users will share their ride with up to 2 other passengers headed in the same direction. The company says this will save them up to 50% as compared to UberX. It's rolling out along busy routes during weekday commute hours. Uber also announced ride passes with price lock for people who regularly take the same trips. They cost $3 and lock in a price for 30 days. One more thing, Uber announced member days with discounts on Uber rides, deals on Uber Eats orders, and other savings from Uber partners. This year's member days start tomorrow. Some of the best golfers in the world are coming together today for the PGA Championship. This year, the betting favorites are top-ranked golfer Scottie Scheffler and the most recent major champion, Rory McIlroy. And there are other big names there too, like Bryson DeChambeau, Justin Thomas, Jon Rahm, and Jordan Spieth, who's now just one PGA Championship win away from a career Grand Slam. More than 200,000 fans are also expected to attend the tournament, which this year is at the Quail Hollow Club in Charlotte, North Carolina. For those watching from home, it'll be on either ESPN or CBS. The PGA Championship wraps up on Sunday. Well, that's it for the main news today, so now it's time for Thing to Know Thursday. But first, I want to tell you about our sponsor, Skylight. Okay, if you're like me, and you definitely want to be the type of parent that meal plans and feels prepared for dinner each evening, but it just hasn't happened yet, or maybe for you it's calendar confusion between you and your partner, or whatever it is that keeps you and your family feeling kind of stuck in chaos, I have good news for you. The Skylight calendar makes all the difference. This is a beautiful digital display all-in-one smart calendar that will become a place of peace for your family. My husband and I can not only sync our calendars for any events that affect the family, we also have a shared grocery list now, a shared to-do list, and a shared meal planning calendar where I can literally send a URL, picture, or PDF and instantly get recipes uploaded and saved. This is a game changer. I haven't even mentioned the routine and chore checklist that also help my kiddo stay on track in the mornings and helps get us out the door on time, and he loves it. And right now, Skylight is offering our listeners $30 off their 15-inch calendars. That's the one I have, by going to skylightcal.com/newsworthy. Go to skylightcal.com/newsworthy to get $30 off your 15-inch calendar. That is skylightcal.com/newsworthy. skylightcal.com/newsworthy. You're going to love it. Now back to Think to Know Thursday. Celebrity running clubs are on the rise. For example, Blink-182's Travis Barker launched Run Travis Run last year with a series of 5Ks all over the country, and he's been known to chat with fans as they run. DJ Diplo's Run Club organized 2 5Ks last year with a live show at the end of each event. He's holding 8 more this year. And country singer Jelly Roll started what he calls the Losers Run Club after losing 140 pounds. The club has partnered with exercise app Strava to track a running streak, and it now has nearly 50,000 members on Facebook. Those celebrity run clubs are pretty low-key. There aren't any winners, and fees to participate are partly donated to charity. Organizers say the point is just for everyone to get active, build community, and have fun. Well, thank you so much for listening today and every day, making us part of your daily routine and staying in the know. We'll catch you up on more news to know tomorrow. Until then, have a great day.